The Best Man's Secret. My fiancée Natalie broke up with me over a 3-sentence email while I was in a client meeting. We'd been together for 6 years. She said she'd fallen for someone else and couldn't live a lie anymore. That someone else was Jake, my best friend since we were freshman roommates in college. The guy who'd been my wingman, my emergency contact, the one who'd held my hair back when I was sick, the brother I'd chosen. A week later, their relationship was Facebook official. A photo of them kissing on a beach at sunset, captioned, "Sometimes the love you're meant to have finds you when you least expect it." The comments were full of heart emojis and, finally, from people who'd known us both for years. I spent the first month in a daze of rage and whiskey. I packed up Natalie's things from our apartment, every dress, every book, every stupid scented candle, and left them in boxes on her parents' porch with a note, "Hope these fit in your new life." I blocked them both on everything. Our mutual friends vanished, too scared to pick a side. Jake sent one long rambling text about how he never meant for this to happen, and how he hoped we could rebuild our friendship someday. I didn't reply. My silence was the only power I had left. Then, 3 weeks after the breakup, I noticed something was wrong with our joint savings account. Natalie and I had been saving for a down payment on a house. I'd contributed $48,000 over the years, about 80% of the total. When I logged in to transfer my share into a new account, my stomach dropped. The balance? 942s? I pulled up the transaction history. 2 days after the breakup email, the entire $60,250 had been transferred to Natalie's personal account. The transfer was initiated by her. I sat there staring at the screen, feeling the cold spread through my chest. This wasn't just a breakup. This was a robbery. They hadn't just stolen my future with Natalie, they'd stolen my actual future. I took a screenshot of the bank statement, the transfer date, the amount, the account numbers, and sent it to my lawyer, Ms. Carter, a sharp, no-nonsense woman who'd handled my parents' divorce. She was fuming. "This isn't just a breakup," she said. "This is theft." That afternoon, she drafted a formal demand letter, sent via certified mail to both Natalie and Jake. It was simple, direct, and brutal. The funds in the joint account were designated for a shared purpose that no longer exists. Natalie's unilateral withdrawal of the full amount without consent constitutes conversion and unjust enrichment. Return my client's contributed portion, 48th, 168th, within 10 business days, or we will proceed with legal action. They ignored it. 10 days came and went. Nothing. I told Ms. Carter to file the lawsuit. The day they were served, my phone blew up. It was Jake, screaming through the line, "Are you fucking serious? You're suing us? After everything, you're trying to shake us down for money?" I stayed quiet, letting him vent. When he finally paused, I said, "You and Natalie stole $48,000 from me, Jake. This isn't a shakedown. This is me getting my property back. You should have responded to the letter." "It was a joint account," he snapped. "She had every right to that money." "Then let the court decide that," I said. "Talk to your lawyer, not me." And I hung up. Suddenly, our neutral friends started getting an earful. Natalie and Jake went on a smear campaign, telling everyone I was a bitter ex, trying to ruin their happiness and extort them for money. A few friends texted me, confused. I didn't argue. I didn't plead. I just forwarded the screenshot of the bank transfer. The facts spoke for themselves. Support for Natalie and Jake dried up fast. Faced with a lawsuit they couldn't win, they settled. A cashier's check for the full amount arrived at Ms. Carter's office a week later. I had my money back. But the second betrayal, the theft, had cut deeper than the first. The wedding invitation months passed. I threw myself into work, hit the gym, reconnected with the friends who'd stuck by me. I was moving on. Then, one Saturday afternoon, there was a knock at my door. Natalie and Jake were standing there, holding a bottle of expensive champagne, both wearing nervous, rehearsed smiles. It was the first time I'd seen them in person since the breakup. "Can we talk?" Natalie asked, her voice soft. I stepped aside and let them in. They stood awkwardly in my living room, shifting their weight, avoiding my eyes. Then Jake cleared his throat and launched into a scripted apology, how they never meant to hurt me, how their love was real and unstoppable, how they hoped I could find it in my heart to understand. I said nothing. Then Natalie held up her left hand. A diamond ring glinted under the light. "We're getting married," she said, smiling like this was good news. Jake put his arm around her. "And man," he said, looking me in the eye, "it would mean the world to us if you'd stand up with me. Be my best man. Show everyone we're still family." The audacity took my breath away. They'd betrayed me. They'd stolen from me. They'd turned our friends against me. And now they wanted me to stand beside them, to smile for photos, to be a prop in their fairy tale. They didn't want a friend. They wanted absolution. I looked at their hopeful, expectant faces, and I smiled. "Wow," I said. "Congratulations. I'd be honored." The relief that washed over them was sickening. The revenge. A slideshow of truth. Over the next few months, I played the perfect best man. I went to the tux fitting. I laughed at Jake's jokes. I even gave a toast at the rehearsal dinner, raising my glass to love that defies the odds. But I'd been planning. Natalie and I had used a shared cloud backup for years. She'd never unlinked her devices. Her phone's message history, including deleted texts, was still being saved to an account I could access. It took me a weekend and some data recovery software, but I found everything. A gold mine of deceit. Texts between Natalie and Jake, stretching back 14 months before the breakup. Flirty messages that turned into secret meetings. Insults about me, my job, my family, even the way I slept. Messages from the week of the breakup. Jake, "Just do it already. The sooner you break it off, the sooner we can be together." Natalie, "I will. Then we can take that money and disappear for a while. He'll never know." The theft wasn't an afterthought. It was part of the plan. I took screenshots of everything. I organized them chronologically, creating a timeline of their betrayal. Dates, times, their own words. The evidence was ironclad. As the best man, I had one job: put together the wedding slideshow. Natalie and Jake were terrible with technology, so they handed me a USB drive with hundreds of carefully curated photos, baby pictures, their first date, their engagement shoot. "You know us best," Jake said, clapping me on the shoulder. "Make it special." I smiled. "I will." The wedding day. The venue was a luxury beach resort, paid for by Natalie's wealthy aunt. The ceremony was perfect. Vows, tears, the whole fairy tale. At the reception, the mood was joyous. Speeches were made, toasts were given. Then the DJ announced it was time for the special slideshow presentation. Jake handed me the microphone. I stood up. "I just want to say how happy I am to be here," I said, smiling at the happy couple. "They asked me to put together something to show their journey. I hope you all enjoy it." I walked over to the projector screen, my laptop in hand. I plugged in the HDMI cable. I'd given the DJ a cue to dim the lights. The room went dark. The slideshow began. The first 2 minutes were perfect. Baby photos of Natalie, goofy college pictures of Jake, their first smiling selfies as a couple. The guests oohed and awed. Natalie and Jake held hands, tears in their eyes. Then the music faded. The screen went black. A single line of white text appeared. The real journey. The first screenshot faded in. A text from Jake to Natalie 8 months before the breakup. "He's such an idiot. He'll never suspect a thing." A collective gasp rippled through the room. Before anyone could react, the next slide appeared. A text from Natalie. "I feel bad, but then you kiss me, and I forget he even exists." Slide after slide, their betrayal played out on the giant screen. secret meetings in our shared apartment while I was at work, mocking texts about my habits, my family, my trust in them, the messages planning the breakup, and the theft. Then, the grand finale, the screenshot of the $6,250 transfer, the date clearly visible, 2 days after she left me. The last slide was a photo of them from their engagement shoot, but this time with a new caption: "Congratulations to the happy couple." The music swelled back on, the same sappy love song they'd chosen. The lights came up. All hell broke loose. Natalie was screaming, a high-pitched, hysterical sound. Jake was frozen, his face white as the tablecloth. Natalie's aunt stood up, her face purple with rage, staring at them, then at the screen. Guests were whispering, pointing, pulling out their phones. I didn't wait around. I calmly unplugged my laptop, packed it into its bag, and walked toward the exit. As I passed their table, Jake lunged for me, but the other groomsmen held him back. I didn't even look at him. I walked out of the reception hall, through the manicured gardens of the resort, and into the cool night air. My phone was already buzzing, but I didn't look at it. I got in my car, I turned it on, and I drove away. The aftermath. I wasn't the best man that day. I was the narrator, and I just told their story, in their own words.